Yo guys, what's going on? This is Yoki Man here and welcome to the first official episode here of bringing back Bolton. In this episode, we've gone 3 months forward into the future. We can see how we got on in those first 3 months. And yeah, first of all, this is going to be a steep mountain to climb. Bolton is no joke of an easy save. The debt is horrendous. We are bleeding money left, right and centre. And the squad's not very good. No, it's not good at all. We'll go through the transfers. We'll go through some of the results, how I feel like I'm finding the save so far, how I'm finding the tactic, or now should I say tactics. We have more than one now going forward. It seems to make sense to have more of a rotation of tactics. Normally when I play the game, I would play with a rotation of tactics anyway. I wouldn't just have like one base tactic. So we'll see, hopefully, how we can improve as well and how we're doing so far and knocking away that minus 12 points that we had at the start of the season. So first and foremost, the most important thing that people will want to see, obviously, is the transfers. Nothing really went out. Obviously, since we had such a great youth team, we're going to put that to full effect. But yeah, we went and made some changes. I knew I needed a striker. We needed a strong, quick, just more aggressive striker who was fast and could finish. So we went and got Ryan Edmondson from Leeds United. Obviously a Leeds United fan, someone I know quite a bit about, superb player for the future. His potential is to be a Premiership player. We're not going to be able to sign a player of this caliber at any point anytime soon. So to be able to loan him is really handy. And as you can see, we don't play him as a target man, we play him as advanced forward or pressing forward. He's actually very, very good for the team. He's been doing well so far as well. If we look so far, 8 goals in 13 starts, 1 off the bench. 1 assist, average rating of 7.26. He does have the odd game where we're not creating enough for him to have opportunities, but 9 times out of 10, if he gets through on the goal, he's going to score. Apart from the rest, there's nothing really to write home about. Jordan Thomas on loan from Norwich, backup right back. He's not overly good, but we needed someone at backup, and there weren't many options where we don't pay any wages. And De Boer as well from Swansea. I've never heard of this guy before. He looks pretty decent to me. Forget about the current ability of 2 stars. I think he looks half decent to say that he's 19-year-old, the Dutchman. Again, loan, cover. We were having a few issues at the defensive midfield position with injuries. We have had quite a few injuries. Now, I don't know if that's something to do with some of the squad being a little bit older. Not a clue, but it has been a problem in the team this season so far. So as I mentioned, guys, finances, they're dire. And it's going to stay this way for a long time, I think, at Bolton with a £41 million debt, although we're starting to pay that off now. But I think it's 500k a month we pay off, which is ridiculous. The club can't sustain that. And if I'm being 100% honest, there's a real risk of relegation this season, as you'll find out later in the episode. And it's going to be an issue. The wage budget, for one, it's too high, but I couldn't get rid of players. So January may help that. There's actually quite a lot of players in the squad that I don't want, nor do I wish to be paying for, that hopefully, regardless of transfer fee, will just come off the wage budget and not be an expense. But yeah, it's a real issue, is this financial situation, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better for Bolton unless we get taken over and they pump in 41 million. I think we're going to be in this situation for a while, and it could be a longer climb through the leagues than I expected. More to do with personnel that we've got at the club, the squad, which we'll go through. But yeah, this financial situation is hard, but I do feel like you could say, oh, but why did you get the loan players in and now you're spending over the wage budget? If we hadn't got Edmondson, which we're paying full wages for, we'd have been in trouble. He's scored the lion's share of the goals. He's outright the top goal scorer in terms of strikers. If we hadn't have signed him, and you'll see in patches where he's been injured, we have suffered. So he really was needed. So there's not really much about that. I would rather have Edmondson in and try and avoid relegation than have just tanked it for this season, taken the relegation and try to completely rebuild the team next year. Although that could be the case anyway. Right, guys, so we're going to roughly go over the schedule. I'm not going to go through each individual game like I would normally do on the update. We're just going to brush over it, kind of go through my opinion and my thoughts of what's happened so far. As you can see, we've played 3 months. I think that's the rotation we're going to go with. For one, it means there's a high likelihood that I could get an episode out a week. Also, it means that we get to play through more of it and see more highlighted sections instead of it just being, I don't know, for sakes of 6 months. There'd be a lot of information there in one episode. It'd be a longer episode. If you guys think that we should do it over 6 months, absolutely, leave the comment and we'll assess it. But I think for now, we'll do it every 3 months. It's a good way to look at it. As always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. I've got to chuck that in as much as possible, but leave feedback. I love feedback. Also, tactics. Leave your tactics. What we're going to do is I've changed the mindset of the tactics. I will show you them in a little bit. And we're going to do a rotation of 3. I noticed that the tactic we picked was brilliant in certain situations and against certain teams, but didn't make sense to play against everyone. And we need that, especially if we went goals down. It was the kind of tactic that seemed to control the game very well with possession, but if we went a goal down, didn't have that attacking impetus to go on and win the game. So we needed a second tactic, really, more than anything, to be that solid tactic that can be more attacking when we go down in games. So that's the only reason we went then with a second tactic. We can also add a third tactic in as well. I like a rotation. I think we'll keep a rotation. The more tactics that get sent in, the rotation will change around more. But for now, we're going to stick with what we've got. And this is what it's achieved so far. To be honest with you, without the minus 12 points, it wouldn't be a horrendous season so far for us. I didn't realise how hard it was going to be until the first game against Wickham, and we got beat quite comfortably. And ever since that point, I felt like this was going to be the case. Some highlights there, Shrewsbury 3-0. When we have won, we've won fairly convincingly. Doncaster 4-1, and Doncaster are having a very good season. We did get battered by Everton. Now, I think that did knock the confidence a little bit when we got battered by Everton 6-1. I mean, of course it's going to knock the confidence, because the next 2 games after, we started to struggle. And I noticed that when we went down in games, we needed something to change to, and that's when we changed to the 4-2-3-1 and go with a cam. The rest of the results, games like Oxford, great. This little run here was fantastic, but we were brought back to life very swiftly by Blackpool, who were top of the league at the time. A nice win against Man City, but then there's some frustrating games recently that I've played, like this Bolton game. This Bolton game was frustrating because we missed a penalty, and I don't know if you've noticed, but look at the chances we had. 26 shots, 8 on target to their 5-3 on target. This goal came in the 2nd minute, was the only shot on target they had. So some results like that have been frustrating. There's another one that was extremely frustrating, this Gillingham one. This one is a shocker. Even game, to be fair. Highlights kind of lent towards us, but very even game. But they missed the penalty, and not 6 minutes after that, we gave them another penalty. So we gave them 2 bites of the cherry, and they took it, and they beat us 2-1. This should have been a draw. Very frustrating, but that's been the case this season. There's some issues in the squad where if we don't have the starting 11, the strongest 11 that we can put out, we are very subpar. We're not good enough at all, and that's been the case a few times. Obviously, after the Bolton game, we bounced back against Rochdale, and I thought at that stage, maybe we could bounce back and pick up some good results. The Bristol Rovers game was frustrating because they were in and around, well, not in and around, but lower end of the league like ourselves, but we just couldn't do anything. We couldn't pick up the victory, and then Lincoln, they're a better club than us, they're a better side than us, and to be honest with you, they absolutely destroyed us. So it's been a bit frustrating. I'm expecting this season, let's take a look at the league. I'm expecting this season that fight bravely against relegation was actually a very good expectation from the board, because I genuinely think that's probably what we're going to do. Although we've managed to pick up 5 wins, which without the minus 12 points would see us sitting comfortably out of the drop zone, that's not the scenario, and we are in the drop zone, and the club probably faces going into administration again, which would be a simple case of probably more deducted points. So I'm a little bit worried about that. We are going to sell on assets when we can do, and we're going to keep using the youth idea to improve this squad and to improve how we achieve things. But for this moment in time, this is a situation. Now, I would love to be able to stay up this season. January could be very key for that. When Edmondson's been injured, we've got nothing going up front. The other 2 strikers are absolutely awful. We're going to go through the squad now. Right, so as I said, going forward, absolutely awful. Edmondson, by a country mile, our best striker. After that, it's a left winger and Mellis, who's played at Cam from time to time as a shadow striker where he's got those goals. Now, the problem is with this is there's some great youth, there's some good players coming through. I think we're going to achieve, but there's none of them that are strikers. So it really does not help us whatsoever. Let's look at this here. Daryl Murphy with 1 goal. So that is the problem. Daryl Murphy would probably be my go-to backup striker. Chris O'Brady second. He's not scored once. So with Daryl Murphy not scoring, even though he's technically supposed to be a very good striker for us, his average rating is 6.56. He's just not good enough. He's not good enough at this level. He's certainly not good enough for this team. But the fact that they judge him as a 3.5 star just goes to show what we have going forward in attack. Edmondson probably by far for me is one of our best players. But if we look as well, he's on 5k a week, he's Daryl Murphy. This is bleeding the club dry. Daryl Murphy, if we can't sell him, will be welcomed to leave at the end of the season. But if we look at contracts, which is a really good point to look at, this is why the club is losing so much money. Now, don't get me wrong, Luke Murphy has had a pretty decent season. He's a good player for us. If he would take a wage cut, I would probably keep him on. But $9,000 a week at this level for one, and for this club, way too much money. Also playing in pretty much the same position as Murphy, Jason Lowe. Again, very average this season, to be honest with you. Murphy's been the better of the two, the 30-year-old. Jason Lowe's had a lot of injuries, which has caused us a lot of problems. His value is $300k, so I'm hopefully going to get half of that, $8,000 a week. It is a problem. Daryl Murphy, again, doesn't really play much, reserve player, only plays if Edmondson's injured, $5,000. So it's easy to look at the information that we've got in front of us and quickly see where the problem is. We're spending a lot of money, 20 plus grand, on players that we don't particularly need. Jack Hobbs has been brilliant at centre-back, but we don't need him at $3,000. We have other centre-backs. We have good young centre-backs that could play there that are going to improve over time instead of someone who's being paid $3,000. And this, we need to shrink the wage budget. As much as I like Jack Hobbs, Harry is far superior. Harry Brockbank is a better centre-back. He's having a good time. He's worth a bit of cash. We're only paying the kid £700 a week. So it's night and day difference. We're paying too much for players that are not star players. Now, maybe if Harry was on the $3,000 contract, I'd go, okay, he's got potential. He's worth 700k. 600k. We know he's worth way more than that. He's worth us paying that $3,000. But he's not. So there's some older players on some insane contracts, and we're a little bit blessed at centre-back because I like Delaney. He's good. He looks to improve. I like Zuma. He's good. He looks to improve. Jordan Boone, who we got from the youth system. I'm playing him at left back, but he could play at centre back. He looks brilliant for the future. There's a few, and they're all wanted. If it lets me show you, they're all wanted. He's wanted by Swansea. There's a few players at that standard that are now wanted, which is a little bit worrying, to be honest with you. It's a little bit scary. We have some other players that are wanted, such as Darcy's wanted by Brighton. Very good player. Again, would probably command a lot of money, but we're not paying him a lot, and he's a very quality player. So this is the 50-50 toss-up we have. Sonny Graham, honestly, unbelievable since he joined the first team. He's nearly 3 stars already. His average rating is 7.11. He's on 1,600 a week. I did give him a boost if he played so many games, but this is a scenario where this player is earning it. 1, he's playing superbly. 2, he's 17. This kid could make the club a lot of money for the future, which could be key and important to the club even staying in business and being a football club. He's been very good for me since I spotted him and noticed him. He's been very good. If you remember, I did re-sign all the youngsters to at least 2022. I will do another drive of re-signing them again after this season, especially the breakout ones, to get them until 2023 or 2024, because they're going to be the reason the club stays in existence more than anything. There's some loan players that probably aren't cutting the mustard. You know, to be honest with you, when I look at it, Anthony has been awful. So one thing I've noticed is wingers is a situation for us. He is injury prone, and he's shown that this season. That's why he's not been on the pitch that much. 1 start and 2 off the bench overall just really is not good enough. An average rating of 6.45 just tells the story, doesn't it? We need to look at maybe loaning better wingers. Now, we do have a few young wingers coming through, but I'm not sure they're at the standard yet that we need them to be at. Dennis Politic is very good, but Jay Fitz is what we're going to call him, even though it's Jay Fitz mine. He's been playing a little bit. Now, he's not fantastic by any stretch of the imagination, but I would rather play him, who's promising for the future at 16, get him some game time, than be giving game time to somebody else who's not performing and is being paid a ridiculous amount of money who we can sell on. So wingers is definitely an issue for us. January will look to assess that. And backup striker's a problem for me. Edmondson gets the goals, but he's had some injury issues. He's also been away on international duty twice, and we haven't been able to use him. So that's been a bit of a frustration as well. Let's quickly brush over the tactics. We'll go through some ideas of maybe what we could do moving forward. And I think that'll probably be it for this episode. I'm toying with bringing live comms into the episodes. I'm not sure. I like this kind of episode with more information. I think it's great and going a little bit further forward. But it feels weird not doing a live comm, although they'd probably be really long because I'm gonna waffle on a lot in these. Let's be honest. We're talking stats and future. I'm hoping that we can sell off some deadwood. One important player here, Joe Dudo or Dodo, whatever we want to call him, he's a no-go. He's not good. That was brilliant. He's not good. 300k, he's on $2,000 a week. We do not need him at the club. The same with Murphy, the same with O'Grady. If I can offload some of these players, lower the wage budget, and get in some players that are going to impact the squad, that are actually going to play for the team, then maybe we stand a chance of survival. But it's going to be tough. I think on current form, though, on the first 3 months' form, without the minus points, we wouldn't be in the relegation zone. So I'm hoping if the form stays like this all season, then we won't be in the relegation zone come the end of it. We're only 4 points away from it now, so touch wood, we can get out. Right, guys, so as you remember, this is the tactic that Vass made. It's actually been very good. It's probably been the more successful of the two tactics. But as I said, when we concede, when we go a goal down, unfortunately, probably more to do with the personnel that we've got. You know, Fitzmartin cannot play inside forward. And we don't really have if I'm being honest, we could do with a really solid ball-winning midfielder. If we can sign a really, an N'Golo Kante style strong central midfielder there to play ball-winning midfielder, I think we could see some different results, actually, to be honest with you. I think the problem is right now is Lowe hasn't been fit enough, and then Murphy, to be honest with you, probably isn't great at ball-winning midfielder. He's played best when I play him at box-to-box. So I think with some transfers, actually, this would work. But we are also now trying this one. This one is what we are using. It's similar to one I built on stream. This is what we're using if we go a goal down. And this is the way we're going to play if we go a goal down. Now, there's nothing really impressive about this system. It's just hyper-aggressive, extremely attacking, and really just looks to push people forward. We can be hit on the counter with this, and we don't have the greatest of back lines, so that can happen. But we needed something that we could move towards if we were, a goal down late in the game, or we were drawing late in a game, and I wanted to try and come back. Now, if we are playing against opposition that I think were far superior, then we will try this tactic to start. I think I've only started this twice, though, since we started this series. This has been the main tactic. Now, I think this could be a good style of football moving forward, especially when we get a decent ball-winning midfielder and a way more creative advanced playmaker. If we had real talent in those areas, also I find that Politic has scored a few goals using this system, and the inside forwards on attack work really well, but we're not blessed with them. He's probably the best one, and Buckley's had an okay time there, but we really don't have the players to utilise this system probably to its best of its ability more than anything. So I highly recommend this tactic if you can fill those key positions for me. And that's the advanced playmaker and the ball-winning midfielder and some half-decent inside forwards. I think it really lends itself well. The problem is when Fitzmartin's in there, he's not got great finishing or composure. He doesn't do the job as well as Politic on the left. But it's worked. I think it's worked pretty well so far, to be honest with you. I didn't actually understand how difficult this Bolton challenge is. If any of you guys are doing this Bolton challenge as well alongside me, this is really tough. The debt is insane. When you look at the youth players, you think, oh, this is going to be easy, we're blessed. But it is not. And season 1, really, it's realistic to get relegated. Right, guys, that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed these more information-filled styles of episodes. We're going to move forward now another 3 months, which means we will get January done. I'm really looking forward to doing that. And hopefully we can keep chugging along and picking up a few more wins. If the problem is we've had 5 wins. So if you look at the teams low down with us, the next team there with 5 wins is Gillingham at 17th. So we would be more sitting around that area. So it is a little bit frustrating. But the biggest worry in this series, I think, is going to be the finances moving forward. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Not that it's all one button, but I've said it now, so do it. I'll see you in the next one. Look out for an episode of FC 20 coming today or tomorrow as well. Enjoy the Bundesliga's return, because I certainly am gonna, and I'll catch you in the next one.